What if the car sitting in your driveway was already on the verge of extinction, and the automaker wasn't saying a word? Right now, some of the biggest names in the auto industry are collapsing. Sales are tanking, models are disappearing, and scandals are destroying customer trust. From once prestigious luxury badges to flashy new EV startups, these brands are running out of road fast. And here's the danger. If you buy one of these cars today, you could be stuck with skyrocketing repair bills, plummeting resale values, and no dealer support when the brand finally goes under. In this video, we're counting down 13 car brands that are on the edge of bankruptcy in 2025. Some of them are hanging on by a thread, and a few have already collapsed completely. So make sure you stick around until the very end, because the #1 brand on this list will shock you, and it could leave thousands of owners stranded overnight. Number 13. Genesis. Kicking off our list at number 13 is Genesis, a brand that stormed into the US market promising to shake up luxury. On paper, it looked like the next big thing. Bold styling, high-tech features, and prices that undercut BMW and Mercedes. But here's the problem. Luxury buyers don't chase bargains, they chase status. And to many, Genesis still feels like Hyundai in disguise. The sales numbers prove it. In 2024, Genesis sold 75,003 cars in the US, which looks decent until you stack it against the competition. BMW sold 362,000, Lexus moved 319,000, and Mercedes topped 282,000. Genesis barely registers on the luxury radar, and the red flags don't stop there. In 2022 alone, Genesis recalled nearly 95,000 vehicles, models like the G80, GV60, and GV70, all for fuel pump failures that could cause sudden stalling. In luxury, even a single recall like that can shatter trust. For owners, that means faster depreciation, higher repair bills, and a shrinking pool of future buyers. Then comes the ownership experience. Genesis promised exclusive showrooms and premium service, but most customers still get shuffled to Hyundai lots, free coffee next to Elantras instead of the red carpet treatment luxury buyers expect. Add in a 25% US tariff on Korean imports, which drives prices higher, and suddenly Genesis loses its value luxury advantage. And if you thought their EV gamble would save them, think again. The GV60 EV is overpriced, underwhelming, and already losing ground to rivals like Tesla, BMW, and even Hyundai's own Ioniq line. Unless Genesis can fix its identity crisis and rebuild trust, it risks fading fast, leaving today's buyers stuck with cars no one wants tomorrow. Number 12. Buick. At number 12, we have Buick, a brand that's alive but barely breathing. For decades, Buick has carried the reputation of being the old folks' car, and no matter how much marketing they throw at it, that stigma just won't die. Younger buyers don't see Buick as modern or aspirational. To them, it's grandpa's ride, not the future of driving. Yes, sales ticked upward in 2024 with 183,421 vehicles sold in the US, up 16% from the year before. But when you compare that to Toyota's 2.3 million or Honda's 1.3 million, Buick isn't even in the same league. It doesn't feel like a competitor, it feels like a side note. And the lineup isn't helping. Buick only offers 3 SUVs in America: the Encore GX, Envision, and Envista. Critics dismiss them as little more than rebadged Chevrolets, and buyers see the same thing. When your cars look like slightly dressed-up siblings, your credibility as a premium brand vanishes. The scandals haven't helped either. Remember the Tiger Woods sponsorship? That was supposed to inject the cool factor. Instead, it bled millions and ended in embarrassment. Then came the mechanical headaches. Owners of the Encore and Encore GX report engine performance issues, oil leaks, and failing turbochargers. For a brand already struggling to justify its existence, reliability problems are the final nail in the coffin. Here's the harsh truth. Buick isn't strong enough in luxury to win status-seeking buyers, and it's too expensive to lure in budget-conscious shoppers. That means one thing for owners: sinking resale values, shrinking dealer support, and the looming risk that GM could pull the plug on the brand entirely in the US. Unless Buick can reinvent itself quickly, it may not be around much longer. Number 11. Lincoln. Sliding into number 11 is Lincoln, a brand that once defined American prestige but is now barely holding on to relevance. There was a time when owning a Lincoln meant you had made it. Presidents rode in them, celebrities flaunted them. But today, the Lincoln badge is fading fast, and the warning signs are everywhere. Let's start with reliability. Owners report air suspension leaks that turn a smooth luxury ride into a sagging mess. Engines suffer coolant and oil leaks, overheating, and even complete power loss. Transmissions add to the nightmare. The MKZ is notorious for harsh shifting, while the Navigator struggles with slipping gears. And it doesn't stop there. Wiring failures, glitchy infotainment systems, AC breakdowns, and transfer case issues all pile up to create chaos instead of comfort. Even the classics aren't safe. The town car is plagued with spark plug and suspension faults, and the shadow of the Takata airbag recall still hangs over the brand's reputation. For a luxury marque, this is devastating. And here's the bigger red flag. Lincoln is disappearing from the market's radar. Younger buyers don't care about it, while BMW, Lexus, and Cadillac dominate. Lincoln dealerships are shrinking fast, and according to Consumer Reports, Lincoln ranks just 24th overall, 12th among luxury brands, and 13th in road tests. Mediocre numbers for a brand that once symbolized the pinnacle of American luxury. For current owners, that spells disaster. Weaker resale values, higher repair costs, and fewer dealers willing to service your car. Unless Lincoln finds a way to both fix its cars and rebuild its image, it risks becoming nothing more than a relic of the past. Number 10. Alfa Romeo. At number 10, we have Alfa Romeo, a brand that's legendary in Europe but on life support here in the US. On paper, Alfa should be thriving. Italian design, racing heritage, and performance that rivals BMW and Mercedes. But the reality? Alfa Romeo sells fewer cars in the US than some dealerships move in a month. In 2024, Alfa's US sales barely cracked 11,000 units total. Compare that to BMW's 360,000 or even Lexus at 325,000, and you see just how tiny Alfa's footprint really is. Then there's the elephant in the room, reliability. Owners of the Giulia sedan and Stelvio SUV have reported endless headaches, electrical failures, transmission issues, turbo problems, and even software glitches that leave drivers stranded. Consumer Reports has repeatedly ranked Alfa near the bottom of the reliability charts, and J.D. Power echoes the same warnings. And when something does go wrong, repairs are brutally expensive and parts can take weeks, sometimes months, to arrive. That's because Alfa has such a limited dealer and service network in the US. Imagine paying $70,000 for a Stelvio Quadrifoglio and then waiting a month for a replacement part just to get back on the road. That frustration is exactly why so many American buyers avoid Alfa altogether. The sad truth is that Alfa Romeo's reputation for style over substance has caught up to them. Low sales, constant reliability nightmares, and a shrinking customer base leave this brand skating on thin ice. Unless Alfa finds a way to fix its dependability issues and expand its US presence, it may not survive here much longer. Number 9. Fiat. Next up at number 9 is Fiat, a brand that once made a huge comeback in the US, but today it's hanging on by a thread. When Fiat returned to America in 2011, it promised fun, quirky, European cars that would shake up the market. The Fiat 500 was its poster child. Stylish, compact, and supposedly perfect for city living. But here's the harsh reality: American buyers never truly embraced it. In fact, sales peaked at 46,999 units in 2012 and then collapsed. By 2019, Fiat sold just 9,200 cars in the US, and by 2021, that number dropped to under 3,000 total. That's not just decline, that's freefall. And the problems go far beyond sales. Fiat has one of the worst reliability reputations in the industry. Owners complain of constant electrical failures, poor build quality, weak transmissions, and endless check engine lights. Consumer Reports has consistently ranked Fiat at or near the very bottom of dependability surveys. Even worse, Fiat's US lineup has shrunk to basically one car, the 500X. Models like the 500L and the 124 Spider were discontinued after flopping in sales. And with such limited options, buyers are asking, why even bother with Fiat at all? Here's what this means for owners. Parts are harder to find, dealerships are disappearing, and resale values are tanking. A Fiat you buy new today could lose half its value in just 3 years. Unless Fiat can stage yet another miracle comeback, and history says that's unlikely, it could vanish from the American market completely. Number 8. Chrysler. At number 8, we have Chrysler, a once iconic American brand that's now teetering on the edge of irrelevance. This is the company that gave us classics like the 300 sedan and the legendary Town & Country minivan. But fast forward to 2025, and Chrysler's US lineup has been whittled down to just 2 models, the Pacifica minivan and the aging Chrysler 300, which has already been discontinued after nearly 20 years on the market. That's right, a brand that once offered a full range of cars and SUVs is now clinging to survival with basically a single minivan. The numbers don't lie. In 2023, Chrysler sold just 133,729 vehicles in the US. Compare that to Ford's 1.9 million or Toyota's 2.3 million, and you can see how small Chrysler's footprint has become. It's no longer a household name in showrooms. It's a niche player fighting for scraps. Chrysler has long battled a reputation for poor reliability and cheap build quality. The Pacifica, while innovative as the first hybrid minivan, has been plagued with electrical glitches, transmission failures, and stalling issues. The 300, once admired for its bold design, has barely changed in over a decade and feels completely outdated next to modern competitors. What's worse is that Chrysler doesn't have a clear identity anymore. Is it luxury? Is it family-focused? Is it performance? Even Stellantis, Chrysler's parent company, seems unsure, and that lack of direction is a death sentence in today's brutally competitive market. For owners, this means shrinking dealer support, limited parts availability, and rapidly falling resale values. Buying a Chrysler today could mean you're holding onto a nameplate that won't even exist in a few years. Unless Chrysler pulls off a massive reinvention with its upcoming EV lineup, it could soon join Plymouth and Pontiac in the graveyard of American car brands. Number 7. Infiniti. Sliding into number 7 is Infiniti. Once Nissan's bold answer to BMW and Lexus, now a brand quietly fading into the background. In 2024, Infiniti sold just 58,070 vehicles in the US, a 10% drop from the previous year. Over the last decade, their sales have been cut nearly in half, forcing the brand to shut down standalone showrooms and fold many dealers into Nissan stores. The luxury shine is disappearing fast. Models are vanishing too. The QX50 and QX55 will end production in 2025, and the Q50 sedan is already gone. That leaves a very thin lineup priced out of reach for most buyers. Luxury buyers are left asking, why even consider Infiniti when BMW, Lexus, and Mercedes offer more prestige, performance, and reliability? Scandals haven't helped either. Infiniti was caught inflating performance numbers in 2018, and prior recalls affecting airbags and power steering failures hit over 1.3 million vehicles, shaking consumer trust and driving resale values down. Reliability scores hover at average or below, and older platforms with CVTs drag performance down. Infiniti promises a rebound with EVs and a redesigned Q50 in 2027, but for now the brand is running out of road. For current owners, that translates to fewer service options, shrinking dealer support, and cars that lose value faster than competitors. Unless Infiniti reinvents itself, this once proud luxury badge could disappear quietly, leaving owners with cars that are harder to service and harder to sell. Number 6. Mitsubishi. At number 6, we have Mitsubishi, a brand that once dominated rally tracks and city streets, now barely clinging to life in the US. In 2024, Mitsubishi sold just 19,843 vehicles in the US, a steep drop from earlier years. By early 2025, a new US tariff froze deliveries, leaving cars stranded at ports and dealers empty-handed. The lineup is shrinking fast. The budget-friendly Mirage is gone, leaving only the Outlander, Outlander Sport, and Eclipse Cross, none of which are lighting up sales charts. Trust and credibility are major issues. Back in 2016, Mitsubishi admitted to falsifying fuel economy data for over 600,000 vehicles, triggering raids, resignations, and billions in lost value. Before that, a recall cover-up scandal further eroded confidence. On the road, Mitsubishi owners report transmission failures, weak AC, failing suspension components, electrical faults, and engines that won't start. Build quality is hit or miss, technology feels outdated, and resale value sinks fast. For buyers thinking Mitsubishi means affordable reliability, the reality is harsh. This brand may drain your wallet instead of saving it. With shrinking sales, an aging lineup, and decades of scandals haunting its reputation, Mitsubishi is fighting just to survive. Unless the company reinvents itself and wins back buyer trust, it may soon disappear from US roads entirely. Number 5. Dodge. Coming in hot is Dodge, a brand once built on muscle and attitude, now running on fumes. For years, Dodge survived on just 3 nameplates: the Charger, Challenger, and Durango. But in 2023, both the Charger and Challenger were discontinued, wiping out the last true American muscle cars from dealership lots. That left Dodge with a shrinking identity and a shrinking customer base. Sales are reflecting the collapse. In 2015, Dodge sold over 450,000 vehicles in the US. By 2024, that number plunged to just 190,000, a 57% drop. Meanwhile, Toyota, Ford, and even Kia are leaving it in the dust. And the replacements? The upcoming electric Charger Daytona has hardcore fans divided. Purists don't want EV muscle, and new buyers aren't convinced Dodge can pull it off. No V8, no roar, no soul, and no guarantee it'll sell. Then come the scandals and setbacks. Recalls over fuel pump failures, airbag defects across multiple models, transmission problems in the Durango. Dodge ranked near the bottom in Consumer Reports' reliability scores, dealerships merging with Jeep and Chrysler to stay afloat. And here's the real red flag. Stellantis executives openly admitted in 2024 that several brands under their umbrella may not survive beyond 2026. Dodge is right in that danger zone. For owners, the warning is clear. Depreciation is accelerating, dealer support is shrinking, and the brand's identity is disappearing. If Dodge can't reinvent fast and successfully, its muscle legacy might die with it, leaving owners stuck with cars from a brand that no longer exists. Number 4. Nissan. Sliding into number 4 is Nissan, a brand that once ruled the roads with legends like the GTR, 240Z, and Maxima, now fighting for survival. In 2024, U.S. sales hit 865,938 vehicles. On paper, that seems solid, but the details tell a much darker story. The Maxima's sales collapsed by over 90%, the Altima is sliding, and globally, Nissan expects to lose $5.3 billion, with $3.5 billion gone from U.S. operations alone. It's not just sales. A failed merger with Honda in 2024 could have created the world's third-largest automaker, but talks fell apart, leaving Nissan scrambling for new partners. Plants are shutting down, 9,000 jobs lost, and 2 planned U.S. EVs were canceled. No hybrids, no plug-ins, no future-ready lineup. The cracks go deeper. In 2018, CEO Carlos Ghosn was arrested for hiding millions and using company funds like his personal bank, famously escaping in a box to Lebanon. Add in an emissions scandal for cheating on fuel economy tests, and trust has completely collapsed. For owners, this is a nightmare. Plummeting resale values, shaky service support, and the risk of driving a brand that might not survive the next year. Nissan may be a household name, but the company is running out of road fast. Number 3. Lucid Motors. At number 3, we have Lucid Motors, the company that was sold as the Tesla killer, but now is fighting just to survive. When Lucid launched the Air sedan, it promised 516 miles of range, luxury interiors, and cutting-edge tech. Buyers lined up expecting the future of driving, but reality hit hard. In 2024, Lucid lost $2.7 billion on top of over $3.1 billion lost the year before, and its stock has collapsed more than 95% from its peak. Production has been chaotic. Cars have sat unfinished for basic parts like carpets and glass, targets were cut, delays stacked up, and even the much-hyped Gravity SUV now faces uncertainty. CEO Peter Rawlinson stepped aside in early 2025, leaving an interim leader to manage the crisis. Quality problems are piling up. The Air has been recalled for high-voltage failures causing sudden power loss. Owners report buggy software, glitchy driver assist features, and infotainment issues. For a 6-figure car, it feels half-baked. Lawsuits accuse executives of inflating production forecasts to secure funding, and labor regulators have criticized the company for firing employees supporting unions. For buyers, the danger is clear. Lucid could leave you with a car that's nearly worthless overnight. The company survives today almost entirely on Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, but without a turnaround, Lucid's future is extremely uncertain. Number 2. Fisker. At number 2 we have Fisker, a company that promised a bold comeback, only to crash almost overnight. After the initial Fisker Karma failure in 2013, the Fisker Ocean SUV was supposed to be redemption, futuristic styling, bold design, and the promise of an EV that could compete with Tesla. Production began in Austria in late 2022, with US deliveries rolling out in 2023. But almost immediately, problems surfaced. Doors jammed, hoods flew open mid-drive, and cars lost power on the road. The NHTSA launched multiple investigations, not for minor issues but for serious, dangerous flaws. By early 2024, production stopped cold. Sales were $273 million, but debt had soared to $1.3 billion. Rescue deals collapsed, stock prices flatlined, and lawsuits began piling up. Shareholders accused executives of fraud, regulators got involved, and the SEC issued subpoenas over financial mismanagement. Owners are left struggling. Buggy software, broken key fobs, and promised features like Apple CarPlay never arrived. Parts and service are scarce, leaving many cars essentially undrivable. Fisker didn't just fail as a company, it failed the very customers who believed in its comeback. Resale values are plummeting, support is vanishing, and the future is bleak. And finally, the number 1 car brand on the brink of collapse? Canoo. Just a year ago, Canoo was riding a wave of hype. NASA signed on, Walmart ordered 4,500 vans, and a brand new Oklahoma plant was set to hire 1,400 workers. Headlines called it the next Tesla, and investors poured millions into the dream. But by January 2025, it all came crashing down. Canoo filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, reporting just $50,000 in assets against over $160 million in debt. The Oklahoma factory never produced a single van, foreign funding deals collapsed, and employees were sent home overnight. For buyers, the consequences are catastrophic. No warranties, no service, no parts, and zero resale value. Vans that once promised to revolutionize transportation are now stranded, unsupported, and completely worthless. Canoo didn't just fail, it disappeared overnight, proving that even companies backed by NASA, Walmart, and massive hype can vanish into thin air, leaving owners holding nothing but broken promises and empty garages. And that scraps up 13 car brands on the edge of collapse, from luxury names like Genesis, Lincoln, and Maserati, to EV startups like Lucid, Fisker, and Canoo. Some of these brands have been around for decades, others promise to change the game overnight, and yet all of them share the same danger: plummeting resale values, unreliable cars, and shrinking support that could leave you stranded. If you own one of these brands or have thought about buying, now is the time to pay attention. The wrong choice could cost you thousands of dollars, years of headaches, and a car that nobody wants. We want to hear from you. Do you agree with this list? Have you had experiences with any of these brands, good or bad? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your story could help other drivers avoid a costly mistake. And here's the bottom line. Whether it's a flashy EV startup or a once prestigious luxury badge, brand reputation, reliability, and resale value matter more than ever. Stick with cars that survive the test of time and don't get caught chasing hype. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the inside scoop on which cars are worth your money and which ones could ruin it. Remember, in the world of cars, the wrong brand can cost you everything. Don't be the next victim.